Welcome to Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. I'm Madelyn, your tarot reader and energy healer. So great to have you here on Tuesday. So in this reading, we're going to be looking again at one of the cards from the Native American deck. I love how it really talks about the tarot, but also the energies, and the messages coming from the Native Americans. And so we have like a great combination in these cards. So first of all, let's bow our heads and ask for guidance and direction and protection here in the reading today. Okay. So we like to put Reiki energy into the deck, and it will guide us to a card for Tuesday. Oh, yay! It's another major arcana. We have the Judgment card. And I love this card so much. I think it's one of my favorites. So we have a person who has passed away, and they're laying here, and behind them is this beautiful tree. The tree has been there forever and ever and ever, probably multiple lifetimes. And that's one of the cool things about trees, is that they are there for multiple lifetimes, and they kind of watch us and observe us during those times. I love the energies in like Game of Thrones that really talks about the trees and interacting with the trees and how the trees all are connected throughout their world, and the third eye communication. So, same thing in those movies, Pandora and those kind of things. Excuse me. So it really has some of these great feelings and understanding trees and knowing more about trees and plants. So let's take a look at this card, the Judgment card. Let's take a look at this card. For this time period. Okay. All right, 20. So it's kind of toward the end, and then 21 is the last card, the World. So 20 is coming to the end. And I will have to use my thing in order to read this. Is such small print. Hey, my dog, how you doing, Coo Bear? Yes, okay. All right. To the Native American, death meant passing into the spirit world, which was similar to and lay near the world of the living. Parallel worlds. Oh, that's kind of cool. The concept of the spirit world was universal among all tribes. Treatment of the deceased varied greatly. However, there were burials in sitting positions, in underground graves, or in mounds, cremations, either simple or with urns, placement on scaffolds, in trees, or in canoes, house burials, water burials, and belated bone burials. Only one custom seemed constant. Prized possessions were placed with the deceased, giving them everything they would need in their new lives. The most elaborate rites took place in the Northwest. The Huron of the Northeast, on the other hand, treated their dead simply using bark coffins raised in scaffolds. The Chippewa marked a grave of cordwood with the cedar post upon which was carved the clan totem of the deceased. The Creek left the dead on a scaffold to disintegrate if he or she died away from home. The bones were then brought back to the family for burial. If the death took place at home, the body and personal belongings were buried under the deceased's own bed. So that's some interesting things. I didn't know all of this. I think I haven't read this one. Another custom was common. Food was left by the graveside, usually for 4 days, since it was believed that in their journey, the souls became hungry from tests and ordeals. The soul of the departed was judged, and if found wanting, destroyed. If it was deemed worthy, it entered the spirit world. So there could be a slight fear of dying and being found wanting. The Judgment card shows 3 different kinds of graves: a scaffold, a tree, and a mound. Interesting. This card represents the ancient universal concept of the Last Judgment. So it has to do with especially with the feelings or the symbolisms of the, once you're done and going through those things, to decide, what's going to happen with your soul once you die. And this, it's so fascinating. I was talking about that in my Starseed update video earlier today. And we were talking about death and how we have a real fear of death. But the more you're able to accept death in all of its forms, the more you're able to live. And so, truly, someone who truly lives is completely okay with dying. Not that it would be self-inflicted, but just that they're comfortable and okay with passing on, and knowing, in confidence, if you do believe in this, in a judgment of some kind, knowing in confidence that you are ready for whatever ordeal may be facing you. And I think that comes from that true willingness to accept things into your life, and to set aside judgment in a way. Okay, so this is the Judgment card, number 20. Thank you for coming to the card of the day. And we will be looking at another card from this deck tomorrow on Wednesday. I'll see you then.